I am Supreme Grand Sheikh, Prince Anael Fahim Sher Bey of the Prophet's Moorish Science Temple of America through Temple Alhambra. I am the de jure divine head of this nation state. My Grand Vizier is Dr. Philip Valentine Ill. Dr. Valentine Ill is also my metaphysician. He and his wife, Her Royal Highness Lalani Valentine Ill, bringer of nations, are very helpful to me and all they assist. They are uplifting fallen humanity. They are also citizens of this government. My successor is Brother Sheikh William Bell Bey. Sheikh Bell Bey was ascended from at my feet. The Sheikh was admitted to the Silent Brotherhood after being tried and tested by 7 Sheikhs of the order and the Hierophant. The Sheikh is a learned Moor, which is why I have all the confidence in him to complete this divine task. In the coming times, I'm going to confer some degrees on you all and separate truth from falsehood. You're going to learn things that you were never meant to know. We may as well begin with why racism does not exist. Because it does not exist. There is no such thing as racism. It does not exist. Understand me, it does not exist. What you know as racism is not. What you know as racism is envy. The envy began a couple of millennia ago, before the Israelites became Jews. The Israelites envied the Hebrews. This envy of the Hebrew people fostered a superstition, or for that matter, what it did was it fostered a superstitious notion in the Israelites. Let me explain to you why I call them Israelites. Because they changed their names to Israelites. And it's a misnomer. They are Ezraelites. Ezrael was the last descendant of Ham. And Ham, by Ham, I mean Noah's son. For those of you who study the Bible, what you were told, and you were given no information at all. What you were told in the Bible was that Ham entered his father's tent and saw him naked. Then the next scene, he's running out of his father's tent and Noah is cursing his baby boy Ham. Let me fill in the blank spots for you. Noah was given instructions by Allah before the flood. What you all believe is the only thing he was ordered to do was build a boat and bring in animals 2 by 2. That is not all Noah was assigned to do. Noah was also charged with gathering up all of the technology of the day, and it was never to be in the hands of who was coming. Who was coming was modern man. Modern man was coming, and it was Allah's idea to keep that technology out of the new man's hand. The story you get from the Bible is Ham went into his father's tent, and Noah was drunk on wine. Let me explain to you more about that fourth degree. The fourth degree is language. The language in the Bible leads one to believe that Ham went in, saw his father drunk and naked, and for some reason he just ran out of the tent and his father ran out cursing him. No. The term he saw his father naked, the term naked means just what it did out here in the streets years ago. It means you're not paying attention. You're sleeping. You got caught napping. That is what is meant by he saw his father naked. That means he was exposed to the world. Anybody could do whatever they wanted. And young Ham went inside his father's tent and he stole some of that forbidden technology. When Noah cursed him, he cursed him for what he had done because he had violated Allah's rule. And so, he cursed him. What Ham did was he went through Canaan and he wound up in Asia. Now, at this time, the new people had come. The new modern man had come. Ham, he went into Asia and he found those creatures who our ancestors created and yet had mercy on them and transported them to another place. The place was Albion. And if you pay attention and if you study, what you will find on the mountain of Amaru Muru in Heru, which was changed to Peru. What you're going to find on Amaru Muru is a doorway cut into a rock. And the first thing you're going to notice when you see that picture of that doorway cut into that rock, what you're not going to find are the uneven edges of a chisel and hammer. What you're going to notice is that rock was cut with a laser beam. Well, that is where the creatures entered. That was the entrance portal. The exit portal was in Albion. Albion is now called England. The exit portal is known all over the world as Stonehenge. What is left of the exit portal is nothing compared to what it was when it was in operation. Most of the exit portal is gone. The only thing that stands are the useless parts of that mechanism, which are of no use to anyone. Besides, it's an exit portal. It cannot be turned on from Albion. It simply cannot. And with nothing left except remnants of the exit portal and the entrance portal in Peru, well, that's just a little background. It's just a little background. Now, the envy began a couple of millennia ago, before the Israelites became Jews. Oh, yes. Yes, they were Israelites. In the Bible, you will read where Isaiah tells somebody, we are Israelites. And that is because they do not want to acknowledge Ham and his descendants who taught them to walk upright for more than a couple of minutes, taught them language, and they developed a language of their own. Now, this racism thing, it's only envy. That is all it is. It has never changed beyond that. Never changed beyond that. And so, because the Israelites fostered this superstitious notion that that if they consumed those whom they envied or feared or fought, if they consumed them, that they would acquire those attributes and those other aspects of those they envied. They actually thought they would become those people. How? Through osmosis? I'm not sure. However, the ritual is called mannery. And mannery occurs when you eat the flesh and drink the blood of they whom they envied. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with why Christianity is called Judeo-Christianity, it is because the Pharisees wrote the first book in the Bible, because after all, they were there. But they were Israelites. They weren't Jews then. They didn't become Jews or use because that letter J is the newest letter in the alphabet. It did not exist. And that particular symbol, it has two sounds. One is a Y. It has a Y sound, as in yes. The other sound of that J is a soft CH sound, as in Juan. But let's get back to this mannery. Mannery is the consumption of human flesh. And in Judeo-Christianity, this barbaric ritual is still carried out every week. Only it's called communion. And during communion, which is a reenactment of that barbaric ritual, they eat the flesh of their Christ and they drink his blood. So mannery is still being practiced today. Okay? Mannery is still being practiced today by a so-called civilized people. But because the church sanctioned it and condones it, that aspect of their religion is still in practice today. But now, back to racism. Racism, it was begun, well, check that, it was added to the lexicon by Mr. Horace Greeley. And if you know anything about Mr. Horace Greeley, what you would have learned is that Mr. Greeley was not a friend of humanity. He was not a friend of humanity. Now, this racism, it had become so widespread, the word has, that people actually picked it up and used it as a matter of course. They picked it up and used it as a matter of course. And it became a weaponized word. racism. And there is no such thing. There is only envy. There's only envy. There's no such thing as racism. Now, as far as this racism and envy thing goes, what you all truly do not understand is it is a fake, made-up word. Not only that, the people whom the Asiatics here fear and despise so much, and baselessly, I might add. The people you call white people, well, you already know they're not white. You already know they are not white people. And white has nothing to do with the color of one's skin. White is a degree, and it has a meaning. But let me explain something to you about these so-called white people. Now, many people know and understand where mankind came from because he is mankind. He's kind of like a man. But again, people, I don't want you to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. All you have to do is, since you're on YouTube, why not go punch in Neil Armstrong's words when they started filming on that soundstage in Nevada and told the whole world they were on the moon. And if you don't remember his words, here they are. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Did you think they were talking about one and the same people? Is that what you thought old Neil was talking about? No. There are many of our nephews and nieces who know the truth, but they are not going to share it with their brethren. It's easier to maintain control over the ignorant when the ignorant know nothing about themselves. And when that knowledge is kept by only a few, well, all you have to do is look around today to see the results of that kind of thing. Just look around. But no, racism does not exist. It is only envy. We are the first. And as it is written, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. It has happened. It has happened. But let me help you understand further. This individual, whom you all, thanks to Martin Luther King and others like him, you view your nieces and nephews as the enemy. They are not. They are simply ignorant of their origins and who you are to them. They are ignorant of these things, and they were kept ignorant. Well, we, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple Alhambra, we understand better. We practice scholarship here. We know better. Therefore, you need to get out of this Martin Luther Coon mindset of yours. I will explain to you again Martin Luther King's legacy to the black man. The only thing he left you was black bigotry, Negro victimhood, and we can't forget this, black entitlement. Like you're entitled to something. You've got these campaigns for reparations. Reparations for what? Reparations for what? They are still voting for the Democrats who keep them poor and ridiculously and woefully uneducated. They continue to vote for these people, these slaveholders, because they are the ones. It was the Democrats who sanctioned slavery and kept it going. And not one Democrat is going to tell you, not one Democrat's going to share with you exactly what reparations are and how you go about getting them. Not one Democrat's going to tell you. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. This is what reparations is for you Moors, for you uninitiated Moors, those of you who don't know you are Moors, which includes the Christianized Moors, and you will forever be known as Morisco, because that is what you are. That is what you are. You worship Julius Caesar, aka Jesus the Christ. The real Jesus was here. He is your cousin, but the church is never going to tell you that. He looked just like you. That is why the Pharisees had him nailed to the cross in Michigan. At the time, it was called Galilee. And the word Michigan, Mich, M-I-C-H, actually means a place to commit crimes under secrecy and concealment. That is where they nailed Jesus to that cross in Galilee, just up the road from his Uncle David's house. King David. See, that is our Hebrew bloodline. That's our Hebrew bloodline. We are Hebrew, Moabite, Canaanite. We have the blood of three great peoples in our veins. And in the Bible, you will read where Isaiah, I think he told Moses or Aaron or one of those fictitious people, that we are known as Israelites. Changed the name. It was Israel, the last descendant of Ham, who set them free and finished their education. And they were Israelites. Israel looked like you. Israel looked like you. And because of that, well, they didn't want to be known throughout the world as Saracens, Phoenicians, etc. No. So, and they were never going to use the name Moor. Never. Therefore, They became Israelites, even though it was Ezrael who finished their education. It was Ezrael who did that, and they became Ezraelites. And they ate the Hebrews. They ate the Hebrews through the ritual of mannery. Now, the Hebrews and the Israelites were two separate and distinctly different people. They have never been one and the same. Never. Never. They have never been Hebrew Israelites. That is the same as saying, I am let's get something real simple, something you can truly relate to. I'm a black white man. It is the same. One cannot be a Hebrew and an Israelite, because the Hebrews were created by Allah. The Israelites were created by man. And I may as well share this with you too, because it is part of my job to educate you. It's part of my job. So I will tell you this as well. When the Israelites began eating the Hebrews, they thought that they would acquire all of the attributes that they envied in the Hebrew. And so that symbol that looks like a J, that you call J, again, it has the Y pronunciation. And in the Y pronunciation, what people commonly refer to as Jews, they are U's. That symbol, EWS, is now YOU. Changed it all. Because you was spelled with that symbol that looks like a Y, E, and W. That was you once upon a time. And now, that symbol that looks like the letter J, it is pronounced like a Y when associated or used for the former Israelites. They're called U's, not Jews. It doesn't have a sound like that. Does not have a sound like that. Later on, I'm going to share with you how they actually came to be. But I am going to leave you with this. Look in a pre-1967 unabridged Webster's Dictionary and look up the word human being. Look up the word human being. And you see words mean what they mean. A human being is a being who was created by humans. We are humans. Mankind is a human being, but he is still our relative. He is our nephew because he was created using the eggs of our sisters and the DNA of the Abara arabo ringtail chimpanzee, which is now extinct and was found in Heru. found in Heru. Just a little something for you to cogitate on in furtherance of learning the truth. And I bid you peace.